And a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, on her head a crown of 12 stars, and she was with child, and she cried out in her pangs of birth in anguish for delivery. And another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 diadems upon its heads. His tail swept down a third of the stars of heaven, and cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was about to bear a child, that he might devour her child. And the dragon's name was Satan. And she brought forth a male child, one who is to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. But her child was caught up to God and to his throne, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, in which to be nourished for 1,260 days. Now war arose in heaven, Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon. And the dragon and his angels fought, but they were defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. And the great dragon was thrown down to earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. And I heard a loud voice in heaven, saying, Now the salvation, and the power, and the kingdom of our God, and the authority of his Christ have come. For the accuser of our brethren has been thrown down, who accuses them day and night before our God. And they have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb, and because of the word of their testimony, for they love not their lives even unto death. Rejoice, O heaven, and you who dwell therein. Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil has come down to you in great wrath, because he knows that his time is short. And when the dragon saw that he had been thrown down to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. And the 2 wings of the great eagle were given to the woman, in order that she might fly into the wilderness to her place, where she is to be nourished for a time and times and half a time. The serpent poured water like a river out of his mouth after the woman, to sweep her away with the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed the river which the dragon poured out of his mouth. Then the dragon was angry with the woman, and went off to make war with the rest of her offspring, who keep the commandments of God and bear testimony to Jesus. And I saw a beast rising out of the sea. He had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on his horns. On each head was the blasphemous name of a different emperor. The beast was like a leopard, as Babylon had feet like that of Media, the bear, and a mouth like the lion of Rome. The dragon gave the beast his power. The whole world was astonished and followed the beast. Men worshipped the dragon because he had been given political authority to the beast. The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies, and to exercise his authority for 42 months. He opened his mouth to blaspheme God and to slander his name and his dwelling place and those in heaven. The beast represents the political power of Rome.
Bow down and worship me. I have all power. God is nothing. God is dead.
Who is like the beast, and who can fight against him?
He was given power to make war against the saints and to conquer them, and authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, whose names have not been written in the book of life, belonging to the Lamb that was slain from the foundation of the world. He who has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is to go into captivity, he will go. If anyone is to be killed with the sword he will be killed. Here is a call for the endurance and faith of the saints. Then I saw another beast which rose out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, and spoke like a dragon. It had all the power of the first beast, and caused all of the earth to worship this first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. It represented the worship of political power. The beast of the land performed great miracles, even calling fire to come down from heaven onto the earth in sight of all men. And through these miracles it deceived all of the earth. It ordered them to set up a statue of the first beast, and even gave life to that statue so that it would speak. It ordered that everyone was to worship this first beast, and all who worshipped him were given a mark that they might buy and sell, and without the mark a man could buy nothing. Then I looked, and behold, the Lamb stood on Mount Zion, and the 144,000 who had his and his Father's name stood with him. And I heard a voice from heaven like the rush of many waters, and the roar of the loud thunder. The voice was like the sound of harpists playing their harps.
Hearing the love of Christ is
And they sing a new song before the throne and before the four living creatures and before the elders. No one could learn that song except the 144,000 who had been redeemed. These have not defiled themselves with women, for they are chaste. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They have been redeemed from mankind as firstfruits for God and the Lamb, and in their mouth no lie was found, for they are sinless. I saw another angel flying between heaven and earth. He proclaimed an eternal gospel to all who inhabit earth, to those of every nation, language, and custom. His clear voice was audible to all.
Fear God alone and give him glory, because the decisive hour of his judgment has come. Worship the one who made heavens and earth and all that is in them.
Then there was a second angel who followed the first. He sounded forth a pronouncement of destruction as a proclamation of salvation.
Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, who seduced the nations to intoxicate themselves by her impure passion for power. If anyone worships the beast and his image and receives the mark on the forehead or hand, he will fall under the fury of God's wrath. He will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and of the Lamb forever.
This is a call for endurance on the part of the saints who obey God's commandments and remain faithful to Jesus. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on.
Take your sickle and reap, for the time to reap has come, and the harvest of the earth is ripe.
Stretch out your sickle and gather the earth's grape harvest, for its clusters are ripe.
The angel put his sickle to the earth and gathered in its grapes, and threw them into the great winepress of God's wrath. The winepress of God was trodden outside the city, and for 1,600 stadia, which is interpreted 200 miles, blood flowed from the press to the height of the horses' bridles. Then I saw another sign in heaven. There were 7 angels with 7 plagues, which are the last of God's wrath to be revealed. I also saw a sea of glass mingled with fire, and those that had victory over the beast stood by the sea of glass with harps in their hands, singing the song of the Lamb.
Great and wonderful are thy deeds,
O Lord God Almighty,
just and true are thy ways.
thou art the King of the ages. Who shall not be in fear and glorify thy name, O Lord?
For thou alone art holy.
All nations shall come and worship thee. For thy judgments have been revealed. In Acts 4, I saw the struggle between good and evil down through world history. This battle began with Satan's attempts to destroy the Messiah. Satan was cast down to the earth where he sought to use political power to control the earth. In the ancient world, he used the Caesars. However, in every age, he uses other political power. He turns such power into a religious worship service like Caesar worship. However, against him stands the Lamb and his followers. They will be triumphant.